Whether you see them as poignant relics of the past, or simply as urban playgrounds for the daring, abandoned theme parks have an unmistakably creepy draw to them. But look beyond the spooky photos and eerily creaking Ferris wheels, and you find that many of these abandoned theme parks hide chilling secrets, more spine-tingling than a sweater full of spiders. Disney's River Country. In the late 1970s, Disney was the hot kid on the block. Following the success of Disney World, the Imagineers set their sights on a different sort of attraction, a backwoods river getaway in the Florida swampland. Built in 1976, the park actually did pretty well. It rolled along until 2005, and then it just closed its doors suddenly and without explanation. Rumors about the sudden closing abounded. At least 2 children drowned in the park, but the most common explanation was the park's water facilities had become infected with an amoeba that swims up through a person's nose and eats away pieces of their brain until they die. For whatever reason, Disney shut the park down, then seemingly forgot about it. It's now become an overgrown jungle where dingy water slides still wind through the encroaching trees, and the pools lay dormant, filled with murky green water that definitely, most likely, probably, maybe hides some kind of human-murdering black lagoon monster.
Really? Nah, I'm just screwing with you.
Spreepark. Germany's Spreepark was built in former East Berlin, just after the fall of the Berlin Wall. Today, it's a gutted, rusting remnant of the post-unification economic splurge. A Ferris wheel looms over the trees, and beached pirate ships are slowly disappearing under creeping vines. And a lone roller coaster track runs into the gaping mouth of a graffiti-covered monster. Built in 1989, it was a popular attraction until the mid-90s and then slowly sank into the sea of insolvency. It was closed in 2001, and in 2003 its builder was arrested when police found a reported 167 kilograms of Peruvian cocaine inside the mast of one of the rides, the Flying Carpet. And here tourists thought they were just going on an ordinary magic carpet ride. Kejonuma Leisureland. At its peak in the 80s, more than 200,000 tourists flocked to Kejonuma Leisureland each year. Located in central Japan, Leisureland boasted a small but impressive collection of fairground rides that kept the park humming for over 20 years, until it finally shut down in 2000. Now it's been reclaimed by nature. Most of the rides are still standing, although they've been crippled by rust and choking weeds in the intervening years. Visit it at night, and it's easily one of the eeriest abandoned parks in the world. But there's another reason why locals prefer not to visit the ruins: a supposed ancient curse on the land. As the legend goes, there's a small pond just outside the theme park that holds the tormented soul of a young mother. She lived near the pond and on one day found that she was pregnant. Instead of a child though, she supposedly gave birth to a snake, which slithered into the pond and called out to her. Driven insane by her snake child's cries, the woman dove into the pond and committed suicide. Even the name of the region itself, Kejonuma, translates to Pond of the Ghost Woman.
Whoa! Dude, that's creepy.
Blub Water Park. You wouldn't guess it from its name or current state, but Blub was once one of Germany's most popular water parks. It ran for 2 decades before an unlikely invader forced the owner to drain the pools and lock everyone out. Sometime in the late 90s, Blub was overrun by rats. The park fought the vermin back and managed to shamble along for another few years, but it was a losing battle, especially once the public realized what was happening. In 2002, Blub declared bankruptcy and abandoned the massive facility to the rats living in its walls. Now, it has all the eerie charm you'd expect from a derelict water park. Huge in-ground pools, empty swimming grottos, and dried up water slides that end in a long drop to unforgiving tile. Chippewa Lake Park. If you approached Chippewa Lake Park before 2010, the first thing you would have seen was an ancient roller coaster rail peeking over the tops of the trees, like the hand of a giant beckoning you closer. By then, the park had been derelict for over 3 decades after being abandoned in 1978. And for years, the old roller coasters, Ferris wheel, and buildings slid beneath the choking underbrush, and then a spate of arson in the early 2000s burned out most of the large structures to the ground. In 2010, the property was sold and partially demolished before everything came to a halt over a lawsuit. The rest of the former amusement park now sits in the twilight of death. waiting for someone to finish putting it out of its misery. And speaking of death, there's supposedly an unmarked grave hiding somewhere amid the towering skeletal structures of Chippewa Lake Park, like an Easter egg from hell. The park's owner, Parker Beach, allegedly requested to be buried in the park he'd loved so much. Whether or not it ever happened is up for debate, but it's definitely not something you want to think about as you poke through the overgrown ruins in the final moments of daylight.
I'm freaking out, man. You are freaking out, man.
Thanks for watching. Click the grunge icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.